people try to have this mixed bag of rods. It is a mistake. It'd be like having a different brand arrow for everyone in your quiver. Like, does that make any sense?
No.
That makes no sense. You're not going to learn. You're not going to learn what that does. So, like, find what you like and then get a set. I tell people I do a lot of talks and PowerPoints and all that business about having 3 rods. That's about efficiency, right? You're switching tips and heads and all the rest of that business. I just grabbed another rod out of my boat, and I'm already in the water. And I have it set up. I have 3 different setups for different types of water, speed, all kind of stuff like that. So I just grabbed a rod and go.
These are stories of outdoor adventure and expert advice from folks with calloused hands. I'm James Nash, and this is the Six Ranch Podcast. For those of you out there that are truck guys like me, I want to talk to you about one of our newest sponsors, Decked. If you don't know Decked, they make bomb-proof drawer systems to keep your gear organized and safely locked away in the back of your truck. Clothes, rifles, packs, kill kits can all get organized and at the ready so you don't get to your hunting spot and waste time trying to find stuff. We all know that guy. Don't be that guy. They also have a line of storage cases that fit perfectly in the drawers. We use them for organizing ammunition, knives, glassing equipment, extra clothing, and camping stuff. You can get a 2-drawer system for all dimensions of full-size truck beds, or a single drawer system that fits mid-size truck beds. And, maybe best of all, they're all made in the USA. So, get decked and get after it. Check them out at decked.com. Shipping is always free.
So is this like a river snack type deal?
It's just I'm busy as hell snack,
Dude, people are busy out there.
Bro, yeah. So it's just nice. It packs up in my little what are the little side compartments on your backpack to go around your waist, the little waist pouches that strap, whatever. I don't know what it's called.
I mean, it's a fanny pack, but we don't really
No,
want to call it that.
It's on the backpack.
Oh.
It's part of it's on the it's on the waist strap. It's just a little pocket.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
No, not the fanny pack, son.
All right. Well, I mean, no
it's
shame.
Okay. Hey,
I wore one in Mexico this year.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
You're growing up, man. I like it.
I guess. I just I have less to prove than ever. I'm not out here trying to impress anybody. Yeah.
Hawaiian shirt and a fanny pack, dog. That's living the dream.
Oh my goodness. Well, we are here at the Overland Expo in Redmond, Oregon, with Lael Paul Johnson in the Decked booth.
Welcome.
Yeah, day 2 of the show. Good to see you, man.
Man, this is the best. Dude, if I didn't know you were going to be here, but this made the drive, and being in Canada yesterday morning, slaying hogs, all worth the drive.
So where were you in Canada?
I was at a fishing lodge up in Canada, up in like the Haida Gwaii area.
Okay.
North BC. You gotta take a plane, then take a chopper to the lodge and all that stuff, man. Looking for a 40 to 50 pound salmon.
King salmon. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you find it?
We hooked one, man. We hooked the dragon, dude.
Yeah.
The biggest that we landed was 28. It's the second trip. I was just there a month ago, so I went with one of my buddies.
What's the name of the lodge?
It's called Queen Charlotte Lodge.
Queen Charlotte
Lodge.
That's like a famous old school lodge.
Oh, dude, it's like it is. Dude, there's a mountain that's up above the fireplace when you go into the main lodge. It's 83 pounds, bro. And I just found out it was a double. It was one fish of a double.
Really?
One fish was 83 and the other one was 35.
No kidding.
2 fish on that size. Couldn't believe it.
So they're running 2 hooks on a line.
No. It was just they're running 2 rods. One on the left side of the boat.
Gotcha.
One on the right side, and both rods went off. One was 35 pounds.
Wow.
The other one was 83.
Wow. So they put 100 pounds of salmon in the boat right then.
Oh, I really hope they didn't kill that fish.
Yeah.
I don't think they did.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that on my soul.
Yeah.
But
Are those big king salmon typically female, or does it matter?
But male.
The bigger ones are males.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. So that barking that y'all might be hearing in the background, that's Lael's dog.
Noble. Mr.
Noble.
Noble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of dogs at this show. I enjoy that about this show, but Noble's letting them know what's up. This is
What's
Noble's
up?
booth right now.
Step back.
So did you retain any fish on this trip?
Oh yeah, we got some. We had one day where you were only allowed one fish a day as far as salmon, but we didn't have anything that was under 20 pounds. It was a good day, very good day. So it was me and my buddy that got invited up a month ago, kind of to see what the lodge was like, promote it, show people like what the fish is like. Dude, we roped them.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was just
hauled them in.
It was it was just an experience that I was not right. I didn't really know what it was like. I've been to tons of lodges, dude, all over Canada, Patagonia, been here, there, whatever. And it's like the level of service at this place is just bonkers because the fishing can suck. It's not the lodge's fault. It's not. It's just fishing. It's just the water does what it does.
And that's one of the things that I feel like really distinguishes like a super high quality outfit versus maybe one that doesn't have the experience or attention to detail. The highest quality outfits are going to show a lot of attention to detail to everything that they can control.
Control what you can control.
Yep.
And they do very well. Dude, biggest moment for me really is, it might sound small, but like, dude, we're out there fishing our butts off, all day. And, we're in a self-guide boat. So we've never been in the area, but my buddy, he's a really good saltwater fisherman. We're out there roping, and we come back to the dock, put the boat up, rope it up. You step off the boat, and they give you a hot towel that's got like eucalyptus scent on it and mint, and I'm like, what? I'm like, just to wipe your hands off from the herring and wipe your face. I'm like, this is unreal.
Yeah.
I had a blast, and the fishing was incredible. So I definitely got best of both worlds. Fishing was like legendary. The weather treated us well. We were there in May, which, dude, it can get spicy out there. I'm pretty sure even maybe the week after people might have not been able to fish every day.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of wild, but we nailed it, man. It was unreal. Yeah.
That feels so good, especially like not everybody is spending a huge amount of their life outside.
Yeah.
But for those that do, you have to go no matter what the weather
is, as
long as it's safe.
Right.
Like you really appreciate when the weather's right
man.
for you.
It was just.
I am on a heater of bringing bad weather when I go places.
Dude, well, you travel with me. I've been doing when we were coming back to the lodge the last day, and we had 25 fish to the boat. It was just me and my buddy. Like I'm filming a little bit, and he's driving the boat, and actually I'm driving the boat because I'm filming, and he's just one after another, dude. I mean, we dropped them in a place that had 40 feet of water. We had a double on the first drop. Wow. It's nuts. And we come back to the lodge on the last day, and they're moving boats out and moving them out away from each other because it's going to get spicy like the next day. So they want the wind going and hitting all the boats and knocking them together, and just got that weather window. It's like it's a risk of traveling anywhere. You can go anywhere in the world, man, and it can be like awesome. You'll look at every picture that's just incredible, and then you could get there and the weather could just be crap. It's just what life outdoors is about.
Do you think about moon phase when you're traveling for a trip?
Yeah, yes and no. I look at it. It depends on what I'm doing, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, where am I at in the season? And like out there, I'm looking at moon phase. It's like, well, what are my tides going to be?
Yeah,
they're going to be big tides. They're going to move a lot of fish in. Look at the wind. So I'm looking like where's the wind going to blow the bait? Is the bait going to be blown inshore, or is the bait going to be blown offshore? Am I going to be able to fish for fish in 30 to 50 feet of water, 60 feet of water, or am I going to have to go out offshore a little bit and fish in 120, 200 feet of water? It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I want to fish them by the kelp, dude. That's where the hogs live.
Really?
Oh yeah. The big fish that can hide.
Yeah.
That's how they get big.
Right.
So. Yeah.
Are you having to battle sea lions up there?
Yeah, there were a couple couple harbor seals that got a fish or two, but dude, there were orcas out there like madness.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, I got some killer pictures of orcas, dude.
Man, I saw orcas in the wild for the first time in my life last weekend when I was at that PFI dive school up in the Hood Canal, and we were in Lilywop, Washington.
Yeah,
Hood Canal's super cool.
Like,
super cool gorge. And you've got salt and fresh water mixing together there a little bit, but mostly it's salt. And we saw killer whales just as we were getting into the water, and they said that was the first time they'd seen them that far south in 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know.
Wow. We got a show.
They're an amazing animal.
Oh my goodness, man. That's why I was thinking about it, I really wanted to do it. I didn't have a wetsuit, but I wanted to get out into the water, and like it's really cool. I have like the half dome on my Aquatech housing, and I wanted to get into the water and have somebody with a fish on, and then me take a picture of the fish underneath the water and the boat above the water and all the rest of the stuff. And dude, we're 50 feet, 60 feet away from the boat, and there's a 10-foot fin,
Right?
and I'm like, kind of glad I didn't get in there. I hear they don't really get after people, but I really don't want to test that theory.
Yeah. Don't provoke them.
I don't really want to get. Well, I mean, especially there's a salmon in the water.
Right.
Right. They're like, he's gonna come in there. I don't know what's gonna happen. So I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't have a suit. So.
What would you say is your profession?
I am a fly fishing guide and photographer. The photographer is becoming a little bit more. I'd say it's taken over the life a little bit more, which is something that I'm very happy about. I get into those places in life where like you learn something and you learn it well, and I'm just so thirsty for learning, right? And it's not that I can't learn anything fishing, but I've just done a lot with the spay fishing, the two-handed fly fishing, and I'm at a place where like I've had a lot of quality catches myself. I've guided a lot of people on the fish that have made them happy and me proud in my career. And there's a lot of pictures that I haven't taken of these epic moments because I'm guiding.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of sort of making a switch over to the photography thing. So yeah, fly fishing guide, photographer, and we're trying to say photographer first and fly fishing guide second.
There's something interesting about burnout and guiding that I'm starting to realize more and more. And I've realized it to the point that I'm telling this to other guides. And that is that the burnout happens without any notice.
Oh, dude.
Like you don't feel it coming on. You don't feel like, oh man, I'm starting to lose my passion for elk or for salmon or for spay fishing or for whitetail, whatever it is. It just happens, and then all of a sudden, it's like I'm no longer interested in this.
I think it's really like I'd actually want to say it's a change of focus rather than burnout. At least I'm speaking for myself. Like when I go out steelhead fishing, in general myself, I'm super excited.
Yeah.
And even the same thing like when I go out guiding, love it. I want to get everybody the best opportunity and experience they can ever have. And then you get in the middle of it, and really what's happened for me lately is that I love the photography aspect of it, of capturing these incredible moments. And I've been out on these, guiding and whatnot. I'm like, God, I just want that. And it's not, dude, screw Instagram. It's not even about that at all. It's like there are these moments in my life that I have the opportunity to capture for me. That's my number one thing. Yeah, you can do stuff with it later, but like I just feel like I'm not able to soak up all of these moments in life, and that has become like a big interest of me. And I've really appreciated the times that I've been able to be the fly on the wall watching somebody else do their thing, and I got the cam.
Some of the best portrait photographers throughout history are people who had to spend a bunch of time with their subject and really get to know them before they could take that iconic picture.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you need to know a species, know a fish, know a place, know the boat in order to take a good picture?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So especially like when you're dealing with animals, you got to be a step ahead. How am I going to capture it? What is this fish going to do? What lens do I need? What frame rate do I need if I'm recording something? Like there's so many things is like, where am I going? And really it's just like, you got to pack all this stuff in your camper bag to make sure that you're ready for it in those situations. So I like the pre-planning, but I got so many years of guiding in that I know what's going to happen. Like I know when I'm going down, run, say if I'm watching somebody else guide or I'm watching somebody fish, I'm like, I know what cast you need to make. And usually if I'm shooting somebody, I trust in your ability to get fish, or make a cast or whatever. So it's a lot of that, forethought about what's going on. So yeah, I think you need to know the craft well in order to be ahead of the game to take the correct picture. Yeah.
Anybody who's been guided a lot has probably been in a situation in fly fishing where their guide has counted down, and then on zero they catch a fish, right? And
guide not God, but there are his moments.
Right. Yeah. And I've done that too, where I know a river so well, and I see somebody make that cast, and I go,
Yeah,
3,
that's it.
2, 1, set.
Mm-hmm.
And then that fish is there, and they're like, how did you do that? Well, it's because I know this really well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting how intimate you can get with the knowledge of how complicated that entire environment really is. You're in tune with it.
So you can still, and I believe it's like you can still be in that exact moment. So you're counting down, right? You got your 3, 2, 1. I'm on the camera, and I've changed my focus.
Yep.
I've changed my shutter speed.
Exactly.
I'm ready. Like eat it.
Yep.
Eat it. Jump.
Yep.
Do whatever you need to do. I'm ready. So it's that type of anticipation of knowing what's going to happen, and you're ready for it. So I mean, yeah, it happens with the guide. And it can happen with the photographer. And when that relationship's so dialed, man, you get some beautiful images and video. That's where the best moments are from. Yeah.
Well, since we're here at the Dex booth, there are some folks who submitted some questions for us.
Cool.
Here's the first questions for both of us. You can go first. What advice do you have for someone just getting started in hunting and fishing?
My advice for fishing is pick your favorite piece of water. I don't care where it is, whatever's going on. Pick your favorite piece of water and learn that piece of water well, like you know it intimately, like you could call a fish, And once you learn that piece of water, try to find the similarities in other pieces of water that are just like at your home water. That'll really, really help you. If you're running around, honestly, and seeing different water and different water and different water, you're just not going to understand, like the little nuances about this specific piece that you can apply to other places, and it can take you years. Like, it took me years to be able to be a successful fishing traveler.
Right.
If you don't know what's going on at home, why are you going to know what's going on in the next country or state? It's not going to happen.
Facts. Absolute facts.
So take your time and learn a piece of water. It might be boring, but for a little while, but it will pay dividends.
My advice is find a mentor. A lot of people either start out by themselves or they start with a buddy who's also a novice, and they spend a lot of good years sort of fumbling around and spending money on gear that they don't need.
True.
Making a lot of mistakes, and mistakes are wonderful. They're a really critical part of the process. But go try and find that mentor, that silverback that's been doing it for 50 years, and maybe it's an old guy or an old gal that still wants to go, but might have like physical limitations. So that's something that you can provide to them. It's like, I will help you walk down the riverbank if you'll sit there in a chair and tell me about all the ways that I'm getting this wrong. Same thing with hunting, really with anything. Like, really try to find that skilled mentor. And there are people who are going to be willing to help you and are just going to be excited that you have a passion for the thing that they've committed their life to understanding.
Oh, yeah.
And they will share that knowledge with you.
Yeah. I hope to be one of those people.
I
really do.
I think that you already are.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just going to get crustier.
Yeah, we call it salty in my game, like, get salty. I'm not telling you, son. Go out there and get on Struggle Street for me, man.
Okay, this next question's for me. How does your time balance out between ranch work and guiding? To be honest, man, I'm not guiding all that much anymore. I guide, some bear stuff, a few weeks of archery elk, a few weeks of rifle elk. And as far as balance, I am completely committed to whatever I'm doing at that time. I do not have the ability to multitask in the slightest. Like, I can't chew gum and tie my shoes at the same time. I'm going to get one of those wrong. So whatever it is at the time, I have to be completely committed and focused to that, and know that I have the support in those other aspects of my life that, whatever happens there will get taken care of. And, I can just give everything that I've got to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So whether that's ranching, whether it's podcast, whether it's guiding, like, I've got to go all in on everything that I'm doing right then.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, Lael.
Yeah.
What are some of your go-to pieces of gear for fishing in the PNW climate?
Oh, right. Oh, well, I guess I'm a Sims guy. I'm Sims Pro. And I mean, zippered waders, man.
Dude,
Like
that is an aspirational
dude,
piece of gear.
dude. It is. It's really a game changer. People don't really understand like how they got a price tag on them, but really what I look at it is like with the zippered waders, it honestly lets me stay hydrated like I want to, and I
that's
don't
a
look
good
like a
point.
crazy person trying to get out of a straitjacket to take a leak.
Yeah.
It's actually more important than you think it is.
Yeah,
right.
Because
So
you got layers on layers.
you want to drink water because this is the truth is, dude. You don't want to be standing. This truth is, you don't want to be standing in the middle of a run, and then you're like, "Dang, I got to get out." With your zippered waders, if it comes to it, dude, you can bust out a cast. You got like, if it's a good swing, you got 30, 45 seconds. Let it loose. Hoping you don't get a grab in that moment, But like, you can kind of take care of your business, but it'll actually help you drink water. I think a little bit better. I noticed a big difference.
That's smart.
It's pretty important.
And man, you've got to drink water when it's cold out too.
Oh yeah.
People forget that.
You do. You just got you got to stay hydrated. So now, now we'll get into the other stuff. It's like, Islander reels from Vancouver Island, Canada, is like the spay reel that I use a lot, and I use them for a lot of my other single.
Do they make
stuff.
a center pin reel too?
They do, dude. That's what. So the reason I'm with that company is like they make mooching reels.
Yep.
That I was fishing with up in Canada. When you're trolling for salmon, they make single hand rod reels. And they make spay reels, different sizes. They're pretty much very similar reels, but to have that mooching reels, fly fishing reels, and center pin, which I literally do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a fly fishing guy, but dude, I'll throw bait with the best of them, man.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go get fish, but my focus is fly fishing.
I got really into center pins for a while, and I loved it, man. And it was during a time when I was very ride or die fly fishing.
There you go.
And people were not necessarily a fan of me center pin fishing because, dude, I could work 150 yards of a run.
It's brutal.
I'm catching fish that are in somebody else's business, and it is so deadly.
Right.
I think it's the closest thing to a
actual
drag-free drift.
Yeah. So the thing is like with their reels, like they are made so well, right?
Yep.
The tolerance is like, dude, there's reels that you're like, oh my God, I'd love to have this reel, and they're like, no, it's not perfect, so we won't sell it.
Yeah.
And it's just they're incredible reels. So like that's an important part, and picking the right spay rod for you. I'm not going to say any specific companies or like that, but like picking the right spay rod for your ability makes a big difference.
Yep.
And your style of fishing. Some people, like, I'm an aggressive caster and I like to move fast. I know what's going on with the water. I want to cover it fairly quickly because I want to get to the next place, but I want to cover it efficiently. I'm not rushing.
Yeah.
When I make a decision to make a cast, I wanted to, pick it up, put it out there and let it swing and then, work on down. And, I think I get maybe 20, 30% out of my day more than most anglers do just because I'm efficient with what I do.
Yeah. I have my favorite spay rod, and I don't think that Winston even makes this anymore, but it's a Winston 11-foot 9-inch 7-weight, and it was gifted to me by a guy from Winston, and my degree is in literature and writing. He and I went to college together.
Uh-huh.
He studied literature as well, and I was a tank officer in the Marine Corps, and he said if a fly rod could be a tank officer with a literature degree, it would be this rod.
Okay.
And I think that that's a really lovely description. And I think that spay rods especially really do need to match your physical ability, your water, but also your personality. It's a really personal item.
It is.
And you've got to be aligned with that rod and everything that it can do. But and I'm not crazy about brands in fly rods at all, because I do think that you need to find that rod that matches you.
You do. Yeah. And I say there's you can go out and drop some coin, man, if you want to.
Dude.
And then there's also rods that don't cost that much that have like the soul that you need for your ability. But you're gonna develop a style. And this is the best way I explain it. Like when you're trying to start off on something, if you like spay fishing in the first place, don't start cheap.
Yeah.
Just make that your rod. Make it your rod. Like honestly, just spend the money. But also like I put it in like the context of like cars, right? If you do not know how to drive a stick shift, do not buy a Ferrari. Don't do it. You don't know how. You're not going to get whatever that thing can do. Like it's not going to work for you, right? So don't go out and do that. You know, figure out how to drive stick first, and then get a Ferrari or Lambo. Go out there and do that. But
Yeah, I actually have a friend that, at the time was in that situation. So he'd bought a Ferrari, and I saw it in his garage, and I was like, "Can we drive that thing, man?" And he's like, "I suck at driving this car."
just jerking the clutch, man.
But we did, man. We drove it down to Dick's Sporting Goods and bought some more shrimp and went out and caught some salmon.
That's perfect.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Okay, next question is for me. James, do you stay connected with fellow vets? Absolutely. And not just people that I served with. I try to give as much respect as I can to a veteran of any service branch, even including the Air Force.
Wonderful. I'm an Army boy over here.
Yeah,
man.
But no, I've got so much respect for people that stepped up and served. And I want to help them as much as I can. I took a veteran spearfishing last week.
Mm-hmm.
A guy that I don't know a lot, and he had a great time, and I had a great time. And it doesn't have to be more than that. Like just kind of be there for each other and show that respect. And then for the guys that I did serve with, I do try to stay connected with them and check in on them and make sure that they're living all right. And if just let them know that I'm there for them if they need something.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome.
And then on that same note, a little language tactic is if you say, "What can I do to help you?" people will typically respond with nothing. Like, "I'm good. I've got it." If you say, "How can I help you?" then that changes stuff, and it makes them think about it a little bit
That's
more.
true.
And,
That's
and
true.
they might come back with an answer.
Yeah.
And a lovely gentleman taught me that distinction in phrasing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's made a big difference. And I think that a lot of times people do need help, and if you ask them how, you can activate that critical thinking element in their mind a little bit more, and they might come up with.
We all need help. You just need a moment to think about it.
Yeah. Lael, what sparked your passion for fishing, and how long have you been doing it?
I've been fishing since I've been like 4 or 5 years old.
This
man.
is such a ho-hum question.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's kind of a wild story though. Like I'm from Kansas, dude.
Yeah.
Grew up in the Midwest. And like, how did I turn into like a steelhead and salmon guide, fly fishing, and you're from Kansas,
Right.
And
in
really,
the Olympic Peninsula,
dude.
Yeah.
It's this is a wild story. So there was a show in the 80s called Marty Stauffer's Wild America.
Yeah.
I might have talked about this before. Anyway, so like I watched this show as a kid. It's on like PBS, public channel or whatever like that. When I'm like 7, 8 years old, and they had this episode. I had like bears and wolves and salmon and elk and all the rest of the stuff. And I just saw this kind of there was fishing in the show, but I was watching like bass fishing shows at the same time. Instead of Saturday morning cartoons. That's the kind of kid I was, right?
Yeah.
And this just was like, dude, I was like, that's what I want to be in the forest. Like that's epic, right? So long story short, later on, like I joined the Army, I got trained as a 91 Delta operating room specialist, and in the hospital doing surgery, blah 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 blah. And then my civilian job I don't have anymore. As surgical technologist, I was a traveler, right? Traveling around the country. Well, Seattle was my second travel place.
Okay.
So I came out to Seattle and hung out, and one of the guys that I worked with at work went out and asked me to go fishing, and it was from the Midwest or whatever like that. I had a bass rod, right?
Yeah.
And a pink salmon broke my bass rod. A pink salmon broke my favorite bass rod, and I was like, bro, and it was like, because the thing is, in the Midwest, bro, like salmon comes in a can, dog.
Right.
Like you don't even know it. And anyways, and I was like, this is the little one, dude. And I was all about it, bro. And I was
Did it
like,
break on the hook set? Did
dude, I smoked it, bro.
Babe Winkleman hook set on a pink.
I gave him the bass, right? And it broke my rod, and I was like, this is epic. I landed the fish, So anyway, so it was kind of one of those situations. Like I was out here, and I was like, this is unreal. It's like it's actually accessible. Like I live in Seattle. There are these places that are around. I can actually get out, and I can actually get out and try this and go. And I literally just went out, bro. I mean, like, I've done some, dude, I would never recommend, like, the wild shit that I did, to go out. No, I wouldn't say that. But I really went out and got after it, dude, because my passion for fishing is so deep within, like, who I am. And went out fishing with friends and was able to get them into fish. And then I was like, I'm going to try this guiding thing.
Yeah.
Like, who does that?
You.
I guess. So anyway, I tried the guiding thing, and here we are, like, 11 years later. But that's my
Dude, that's awesome.
Dude. Yeah.
That's a great story. That's so much better than what I thought it was.
No,
gonna
it's
be.
not. It's more interesting. It's deep, dude.
That's a question that I really shy away from in interviews because it's so common. Like, oh, how did you get into this? And people that have been on shows that have been interviewed a bunch before, they're like, ugh. But dude, that's a great
love
story.
my story. It's it's funny. So I was doing an interview for another part of the story. I was doing an interview for Filson in 2020 because they did like a Filson Journal article on me or whatever. Yeah. And they were asking me, a question, and I'm telling them what's going on. And so I looked up the show, right? I hadn't seen it since, 12 years old or something like that. So my favorite episode was on the Olympic National Park.
Really?
That I guide in all the time.
Wow.
Like that, my favorite place in the world is fishing in the Olympic National Park, and that was my episode. That was the one that got me where I'm at. So, like, it's destiny, dog. It was, love it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Lael, what's special about PNW fishing compared to other areas? You've traveled to fish all over the world, but, you've definitely got the fishing around home. We've talked about this a little bit, but what is special about the Pacific Northwest?
I have literally traveled all around the world trying to catch some of the biggest fish that you can catch on a spey rod, and I've caught them at home.
Yeah.
That's the real deal. Like, and the access is so much easier than going to these other locations.
Sure.
I mean, like, you can drive. There's a lot of places that you can drive. You can drive to Alaska if you want to.
Yeah.
It depends on where you live. It's going to take you a long time. You can fly into Seattle, man, and I can have you on the water. You fly into Seattle, just hour and a half drive.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, to some of the biggest fish in the world that you can get on a spey rod, salmon or steelhead, 25 to 30 pound steelhead, and maybe lucky 50, 60 pound king.
Bro.
That's unreal. I'm like, I've flown down to Patagonia and been in Chile. Like, I go to Canada all the time, and these are, sometimes 15 to 20 hour drives, and flying to Seattle, or if you're somewhere out in the area, where you just want to take, like, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 hour drive, and then, you have the access to it. So I think that's really special. It's that class of fish and the access to it, it's that makes a big difference.
Can we talk about race a little bit?
Oh yeah.
How has, like, have you ever gotten shade, or do you feel like racism has affected you one way or another in fly fishing?
It has. Well, this thing is like when I jumped in, and this is just me. Like, I've faced racism, but it's kind of like I really like kind of just let it blow over, because I'm like, bro, if you actually knew me, I don't think you'd be that way. Like, if you took a second, you know what I'm saying? And I haven't had a lot of interactions, but I've had enough that, like, I'm not the guy to piss off.
Right.
I'm not going to try to beat you up, but I'm going to make you pissed off that every time you see me, I got one on, or my guy has one on.
Yeah.
That affected me.
Yeah.
You pissed me off enough to work as hard as I wanted to be like, oh, damn, I can't really say anything about that guy. That was one of my things. The other thing that I guess for racism is like, I didn't, when I started being, a fly fisherman and, like, really being out in the Northwest for salmon and steelhead, there wasn't anybody that looked like me that was out there. Right. So I didn't have anybody to look to as, like, an example of this, that, and the other. And then as the years kind of went along, I've really been thinking about this. I was like, if I stop fishing, who's there in that space? And I'm not saying there's not other people out there, but, like, I'll toot my own horn, dude. I hold on to some hogs. Right. So in that space, and I'm not just holding big fish for a black guy.
Right.
Like, I've got some quality catches, and I've had some, for my clients as well. And I've kind of looked at, like, the importance of, exposure, of it to inspire other people to want to come out there. Because I do remember what it was like when I was going out there in the beginning, like trying to learn stuff, it wasn't so friendly. And nobody really in like the world is out there just handing out all kind of secrets. Like, hey man, come and jump on my boat and come with me, But there were some days where it just felt a lot more difficult than I believe it might have been for some other people. And there was a time where I lived at a guide cabin, and that was sucks. It was one of those, like, I live here, and you guys obviously are not vibing with the color of my skin, know.
That does suck.
But like I said, I'm sitting here with you, man, doing what I'm doing. So like it didn't affect me in a negative way,
Something that I caught wind of was that you were being criticized, and people were saying that you were getting opportunities.
Oh yeah,
because you're black, and dude, I think that's so freaking crazy that people are thinking that, and I know it's just coming from a place of jealousy, but that sucks.
It does, and like somebody can make up in their mind, like somebody got this, somebody got that, this happened because this. I mean, you can make up all kinds of reasons, And my answer to that is like, how many ads have you seen me in whatever I'm doing, whatever opportunity where I'm not holding a fish? Answer that question. Answer that question. And the thing, you think guiding's hard? You think going out fishing on your own's hard? That's cakewalk. Do an ad. Where somebody else is directing your show, and you got to catch one. And mind you, they give you 15 minutes to fish.
Yeah,
you're not out there all. It's not a party day. You're not hanging out with your home. It's not like this. This is catch fish on demand, and I have done that many a times.
You're right, dude. The pressure in those scenarios is incredible. In hunting, it can be a lot the same. Where if I'm on a professional hunt, and it's being filmed, and a brand is shelled out, $60,000, $70,000, $120,000 for this entire package to make it happen, and I'm getting ready to press the trigger, I'm basically looking over my shoulder and saying, I bet you my career I make this shot. It's a lot of pressure.
Dude, we just did the deck ad, right?
Yeah.
And we were out like north of Seattle, like an hour and a half, and like we go through the whole thing. We're there in the morning, out in the dark, getting it rock and roll. We're getting the shots. It's just killer ad, dude. Like they crushed it.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm shuttling people upriver in my jet boat to get people, I can position. They're flying the drone. They're doing all the rest this minute. And really what it is like, I have to find a place in the river, number one, that I can get to with the time period that we have. But what's actually going to be fishy.
Yeah.
I don't usually make that choice wrong. So
fishy
there's a fish in the ad.
And photogenic.
And photogenic, man.
Right.
So yeah. It's gotta be the right. There's a lot of things you got to put together, but like that level of pressure is like, I'm trying to remember what my first. I'm not sure what my first ad was, but like, man, there's honestly nothing that gets my heart beating like this, because this is like, if I don't do it, well, everybody's gonna see it, right? It's like, if I caught a fish, they're not gonna not put it in the ad,
right?
Right? Like, I got skunked.
Yeah,
it didn't happen. Yeah. And like most of all of the stuff that I've done, there's some fish that's in there, and it's typically not. I haven't landed a monster, but I had a movie in the fly fishing film tour that talks about my little bit of my story and some of the stuff I've gone through as a black man being a fishing guide, called Visibility. Right? We fished for 5 days. There's 3 fish that are caught in the film. You're doing this stuff on camera, man. It's not easy.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure, because you can, especially I'm a working guide.
Yeah.
Like the guy can't catch one in that. I don't know if I want to go fish with the guy. There's a lot of pressure. I like it though. I enjoy it. I settle into it.
What do you drive?
I have a F-150 trimmer.
Okay. And do you have a deck system in it?
I do have a deck system on it.
How do you use it? Like real life, not selling people,
no,
or not
no.
advertising. Like how do you actually use it?
So the thing that I just figured out, dude. I'll start with this. So I have a bunch of camera equipment.
Okay.
Right. So my whole left side of my drawer system is full of camera equipment. I have it set out with my drone, tripod, flashes. Then I have like a lens box, and then I have another. What is it? The half rack.
The half rack's the big one. The sixer's the little one.
The sixer is full of all of my like GoPro stuff, you know, mounts. I mean, this is like daily. I'm on my road trips. I'm going out guiding. I get to go shopping in the morning every single day. If I'm riding on the road, I can hop out of my truck, grab my camera gear. Epic, right? On the other side, I got all my like emergency supplies for like road recovery, like, you know, like 3 or 4 Dyneema ropes in there, like not a come along, but snatch blocks and all the rest of that business. And I don't get into that often because the truck doesn't get stuck that much, which is great. And then I have
if you're using emergency stuff often, you're not living right.
right. You're not living right. And then in the other half rack up above there that just has like the snap-on lid. I have actually a bunch of like tools in it that I actually, you know, switching hitches and the rest of that business. And I have a DeWalt power washer.
Okay.
In there. Why? Well, I'm sponsored by Ford. You know, it works with the deck stuff. But I got this battery operated power washer. So when I'm ripping through the mud and it actually gets dirty on these road trips, I can take that thing out. And I got a lightener rack on the back of my rig also.
Okay.
And I hooked one of the shower systems up to the power washer, and I can clean the truck. So it makes my pictures look a little bit better. So it's not completely gnarly, you know.
That's nice.
So no, that's daily life, man. I'm in there. In that thing daily. Oh, dude, to tell you a story. So I was going up to Canada the other day, and I left something a little more powerful than bear spray in my. Oh, bro, I was like, I almost crossed the border with my 10 mil, and I do my heart because it's in my deck. And I mean, I went and took my camera gear out because I was packing to go to the lodge, and it just sits in there. It's just like, you know, it's no big deal. And I stopped at my buddy's house, you know, to like. You know, to put them in my rig. I hadn't even opened it, and I just thought about it, and I was like, "Oh my good gosh, if I would have forgot." I don't know how well that goes if you try to explain that.
You know, I bet it happens 10 times a day that somebody just forgets, but it's still a problem, right?
Yeah. We wouldn't have made the flight, and it would have been some trouble. So
that would have been dramas.
Yeah, but I love the thing is like once you have a deck, and this is not a plug. This is once you have a deck, you cannot have a truck without one. It doesn't work. It's not the same. It's not the same truck.
And I told somebody that yesterday. They're like, "What are the drawbacks?" And I was like,
"Find one."
That once you have it, that you're going to need one.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
Every vehicle that you have forever.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no going back.
No.
And I've found that to be true with everybody. Like they commit to having that, and if they sell their vehicle with one in it, as soon as they get another one, they're
absolutely.
Get
what do you got in yours?
Man, it's pretty similar. Like on one side, I've got whatever tools I need for the task at hand. You know, whether that's rifles, archery equipment, all that kind of stuff. I've got dog snacks in the back. So every time I pull a drawer out, if my dog's there, he's going to get a treat. And then the other side is all emergency kit. So I've got my first aid kits, my recovery kits, so that, you know, I've got, you know, work on one side, emergency on the other. I've usually got a shovel strapped to the top. And then sometimes if it's wintertime for sure, I will I'll have some of those traction boards like everybody has. And I used to carry tire chains with me everywhere that I went.
Yeah.
And, man, I just don't anymore because if it's that bad, I don't want to keep going. I just want to get out.
No.
And those traction pads are badass. You just
they're
back up
awesome.
and turn around and leave.
They are awesome.
Yeah. And they're light and they're tough. And,
they're super tough. I got 2 sets of them on mine. I was trying to use those, those locking clips that they make for them.
Yeah.
I couldn't get mine to work. I kept breaking them, like putting them on. I don't know what I was doing wrong. So I got some big bolts. I got some 5/8" bolts. Then I got my little tool set in the back of them. But it's you got to really want to steal mine if you want to get on it.
This this Overland Expo is kind of wild, man. I've never been to one of these before.
I haven't either. It's my first.
People spend so much money on overlanding.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Have you got to walk around the show much?
No, not yet, man. I've just been hanging out here at the deck booth, but I'm gonna go see some things. Yeah, this is a new world for me because, man, I'm in the fishing world. I've been to ICAST and all these other big fishing shows, and I'm going around seeing a lot of people that I know, and products that I've been fans of and all the rest of the stuff. But there's so many products out at a show like this that I don't know anything about it. So I'm a fan of it, right?
Yeah.
Now I get gnarly when the places I'm trying to go to find steelhead, I didn't know. I was like, I am an overlander. That's just what I have to do to get to the water. That's just part of the game, you know. There's some people that specifically are just driving around, you know, trying to do the overland thing, which is epic. But I always got a goal, man. If there's not chrome at the end of the rainbow, I'm not probably going.
Okay, we got some more questions rolled in.
Yeah.
Best river you ever fished on? That's tough to quantify.
No.
Yeah.
Queets River in the Olympic National Park.
Okay.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I'm not gonna say my favorite river.
I'll say it.
Yeah.
I can give you my rod, my boat, and whatever. I've been on too many years in there. If you can get him like me, you belong out there. I don't bother me.
Yeah. I know for a fact that I can't. But no, I'm not gonna say my favorite river. But I will say that it has more to do with getting to know the water and the rocks that water is moving over and the insects that come off of it and the fish that move through it than it does like where it's at or like what those things are actually composed of. I think that knowledge and intimacy is what makes a favorite for me.
Yeah. The reason that this turned into my river, and this is the truth, is the river blows out, I don't know, 6-7 times a year.
Yeah.
So you could see me hanging onto a dragon on Tuesday.
Right.
It'll rain, and that run is completely gone on Friday.
Yeah.
And that's like fishing that river for as many years as I've had. That's what made me a good fisherman. It's a glacial system. So, like my favorite place that I've been catching them at, you know, and it could last, you know, a week and a half. It changes, so it's a new system.
Yeah.
So I love it, man.
You never fish the same river twice.
No.
Yeah.
No.
There's a section of river that flows through the Six Ranch, and that water is my home. Mm-hmm. So that's very much my favorite. But I'm not going to say the name of it. Okay. Difference between premium and budget rods. How much does it matter? How about reels?
Rod is the most important. Like, you got to start actually getting into fish to need a rod, or to need a reel to stop a fish, right? And you can get click and pawl reels that don't have any drag on in the first place. But like, I'd say your differences is like you'll find then there's some quality $500-$600 rods. The rods that I fish, like they're $1,500.
Yeah,
you know, and I had 4 of them, you know, and this I'd say this is really important. People try to have this mixed bag of rods. It is a mistake. It'd be like having a different brand arrow for everyone in your quiver. Like, does that make any sense?
No.
That makes no sense. You're not going to learn. You're not going to learn what that does. So, like, find what you like and then get a set. I tell people I do a lot of talks and PowerPoints and all that business about having 3 rods. That's about efficiency, right? You're switching tips and heads and all the rest of that business. I just grabbed another rod out of my boat, and I'm already in the water. And I have it set up. I have 3 different setups for different types of water, speed, all kind of stuff like that. So I just grab the rod and go.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I think it's kind of an interesting progression, and I can speak more to the single hand side.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start out, I don't care if it's $1,000 rod or a $50 rod from Walmart. Your abilities are going to be about the same no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And then as your skills improve, you can level up, and you'll get to the point where you need a better rod to perform at a higher level.
Yep.
Then you're going to get to a point, if you keep progressing, where you can go back to that $50 rod
and you can do what
and you can
do
still whip on them with it.
Absolutely.
So what I would say as far as advice to answer this question, whatever you do, just make sure it's got a great warranty.
Yeah, true. That's true.
You're going to break the damn thing.
That is true.
So
that is true.
I don't care how much you're spending. If it doesn't have a good warranty, and if that company doesn't honor the warranty, then don't buy that rod.
Yeah, that's very true.
Okay. And then reels, we've talked about reels a little bit. The best and smoothest drag on any fly reel I've ever used is the palm of my left hand.
True.
So a lot of times a reel is there to hold the line. If you're getting into big fish that are taking line, you need a premium reel. If you're in saltwater situations, you need a super premium reel. And if you just want to buy once and cry once, buy that good reel, and it will last you your whole damn life.
Well, I would say this, and this is a real thing. This isn't really a plug. This is more like a situation of I'm an Islander reel guy.
Yeah.
Right. they have cork drag on them, and I've been able, like when I go on saltwater trips, is like, so there's a clutch in there that's got the cork on it where you turn the dial and it clamps down and it pumps the drag down, or makes the drag heavier. You can switch those out every day of fishing, so you can have like a new clutch in there every single day, right? So it's all working, like it's supposed to, and you can oil it and all the rest of that business. So long story short is, I went to Mexico and landed an 85-pound rooster on one of my guide reels.
Yeah.
On one of my guide reels. And I was just like, this is insane. Like hour and 10-minute fight, and then I take that same reel and I'll catch a 25-pound steelhead on it. We're catching 10, 15-pound coho. We're all this stuff. So I like the simplicity of a cork drag because you can actually mess with it on a trip. If you get a what is it, disc drag, screw that thing up and try to open it up. Right. Good luck. Yeah. Good luck. So it's something to think about. And I'd say this is like, usually for like these big tarpon tournaments or whatever's going on, an Islander is the backup reel in case shit goes left, because it's not going to fail. So,
okay, next one is jankiest rifle you ever saw someone hunt with. This was actually me. So I was the one. I was filming this fly fishing show in Tierra del Fuego, Argentina, and they wanted some meat for us to eat every day. And there's, for folks that don't know, there's over 1 million head of feral cattle on Tierra del Fuego. There are cattle freaking everywhere.
Really?
You'll see herds of like 100 bulls all together.
No way. Huh.
And it's just chaos. There's just cattle absolutely everywhere. So we were on this great big piece of private property on this very little river, and they would want us to go out and shoot a calf for food every day. Mm-hmm. And this rifle was a single shot that was a break action. The upper was a Remington. The lower part of the rifle was like this pop metal Russian, like taped together thing. The scope didn't even have a label on it, and didn't have rings on top of the scope, and it was taped on. So yeah, that was by far the jankiest rifle I've ever seen. So you had to get real close. You might as well be looking down the side of the barrel. So yeah, that was me.
Wow.
Do you notice the weight of the drawer system in your truck?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, not at all. No, I mean, honestly,
it weighs 250 pounds. Like,
you don't feel it though. I mean, when you install it, I mean, because you got to put one side in, you lift it up. I mean, you kind of don't do me an idiot and do it all with your back, but I mean, you kind of put it on your thighs, give it a lift, and get into the bed. It's not that bad.
But for driving around after it's in,
no, absolutely not.
No,
it's not even nothing.
I mean,
your Traeger weighs more, dude. It's you don't even no.
Yeah. No. So yeah, a full size deck system for a full size truck is 250 pounds.
You don't feel it.
For the Tacomas and stuff like that, they're significantly lighter. It's all recycled high density polyethylene. Mm-hmm. It's American made. It's tough. It's great. Yeah. I'm not noticing the weight.
No.
Okay. Last one. Bucket list spots you want to hunt or fish versus just to visit. That's kind of an interesting one. I kind of want to hunt and fish everywhere I go.
I really do. Let's see.
But if I can't hunt and fish there and I just want to visit, that's tricky.
I've been a lot of places, and so have you. You've checked off some bucket list stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Too. Maybe like someplace with like a really important historical significance, like Italy, for example. Like I don't have a huge burning desire to hunt and fish in Italy, but there's a tremendous amount of history there that I would like to see those places.
I think Africa for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to get down there. Yeah. So I was fishing.
Tremendous fishing there.
There are. So I was fishing in Norway like 2 years ago, and one of my buddies that I met on Instagram, love Instagram, dude. And I'm going through with one of my friends that's from Paris. So I got to hang out with him in Paris for a couple of days, meet his family, hang out for him, and then we flew to Norway. And then I hit my buddy Nick up. And I'm like, hey, bro, I'm coming through. Like, do you think we can link up? We met up at a gas station, dude. And he ended up fishing with us for like 3 days. But anyway, he's from Cape Town. And he's just telling me all this stuff about the fishing and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, like his enthusiasm for the place and like some of the pictures that he's shown me, like it's just this outdoor mecca. And I was like, I got it. And I wanted to do it, before anyway. But like just seeing his passion for, he's from there. I was like, man, this is unreal. So yeah, Africa is definitely a place I would want to go if I have no rods.
Yeah.
Love to. Yeah.
I got to tiger fish a very little bit when I was in Tanzania. And I had to stand like 30 feet back from the river because of all the hippos and crocodiles.
Oh, gosh.
And sometimes, I was throwing these big topwater things.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it'd be tigerfish. There was catfish that would eat topwater crankbaits there. And, man, it was really cool. I would like to go back and tiger fish in a place that wasn't super crocky, so that I could get down on the river and actually fish a little bit instead.
Oh man!
Instead of being afraid for my life the whole time. Sometimes crocs would come up and smash at that bait.
Oh man,
that was wild. That was super wild. Those tiger fish are badass.
Yeah, they look awesome.
Okay, last question, and this one's for me. What advice would you give to your younger self, knowing what you know now?
Oh, what advice would I? You know what? I'm actually proud of the path that I've been on, and I've really been able to learn from a lot of things that I didn't know. I think it would be to really try to tame my hunger and enjoy more while you're learning. That would be like my biggest thing. Cause dude, I'm like, when I get laser focused, I wouldn't say that I'm in the moment. I'm a killer. I'm just in that mindset. And I wouldn't say a lot of times, like when I'm in that mindset, I'm not necessarily enjoying myself. I'm just like in attack mode. And I wish I was able at times to get out of that, to really like soak my situation in. I've been in a lot of places, and maybe that's why like photography is so important for me, because I need that memory when I get out of that headspace.
Yeah.
That's what I wish I would have enjoyed the travels a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you still got time.
Oh yeah. I'm getting better. I'm getting older.
I think that's great advice. I don't know if that's definitely advice that I would have given myself as well. I don't know if I could have accepted that advice.
I don't think I could
as
have.
a younger
You couldn't
man.
have told me that.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like you couldn't. I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
You can't get out of that mode.
Yeah.
That's why you've been able to do what you've been able to do, because nobody can kick you out of that game face.
Never out.
But I would have. But I would like to think that I would have been able to listen to Lael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Cool. All right. Where can people follow you in your grand adventures? Where can they see these photographs, these videos?
You can follow me at Lael Paul Johnson on Instagram, and I have a fly fishing website. That's where you can book a trip with me if you want to go out. Flyguide.com. It's FLYGYDE. And you can see me doing some more stuff with the deck boys, and I'm gonna learn how to dive so I can go out with James and
bro. That'll be fun.
Yeah, dude.
That'll be fun.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. Well, we've got something working. Right? We've got something working in this category.
Yeah.
I don't want to spill the beans on it.
No, not yet.
But yeah, stay tuned.
Already, yeah, for sure.
All right, brother. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Looking forward to hanging out for the rest of the show. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
I just want to take a second and thank everyone who's written a review, who has sent mail, who has sent emails, who has sent messages. Your support is incredible. And I also love running into you at trade shows and events and just out on the hillside when we're hunting. I think that that's fantastic. I hope you guys keep adventuring as hard and as often as you can. Art for the Six Ranch podcast was created by John Chatelain and was digitized by Celia Harlander. Original music was written and performed by Justin Hay, and the Six Ranch podcast is now produced by Six Ranch Media. Thank you all so much for your continued support of the show, and I look forward to next week when we can bring you a brand new episode.